It's Retro Podcast with your host, Retro Lion. We talk music, entertainment, films, and more. And now, here he is, live, Retro Lion. Welcome back to Retro Podcast. I am the host, Retro Lion, and today we have Melody Ebner, the Taylor Swift impersonator. Her group is called Taylor Nation. Melody, welcome to Retro Podcast.
Hi, glad to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. I just had my shots, so I've been a little woozy.
Yeah, I feel that. I think we've all kind of been there before, but I'm glad that you were able to make this happen. So
You were recently at the Marion Palace Theater, and I went to go see you perform, and I have to say you were terrific.
thank you.
It's funny because it was hard to tell who was who. Was it you or was it Taylor Swift? It was hard to tell.
Well, I appreciate that. I try to always put a little bit of my own spin on it while still being true to who she is and the performance that she gives. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
And what was the biggest inspiration for wanting to be a Taylor Swift performer?
Um, I think that me and a few of the other band members, we've been doing different band work for so long, weddings, corporate parties. And when this opportunity presented itself, it was just, it sounded so different, so fun, so fresh to do such an out of the box kind of thing for us. And I think we all we appreciate her music. I never would have thought I would have been doing a Taylor Swift tribute band, but it just made sense when it was presented to me. Our keyboard player, David, he's the band leader, and he's the one that kind of came up with this idea. So when he asked me, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I don't know if it was necessarily an inspirational thing for me or if it was just like presented and it just clicked and it made sense. And it was something that I knew we were going to be able to meet really cool people along the way. We're going to be able to see some amazing places like Marion, the theater. The theaters have all been so cool and unique. And it was motivational for me to expand my world and to see those things and to get to do those things with cool people. And I just knew it was going to be such an interesting, fun project. I didn't want to pass that up. So, and then you get to dress up and sing like Taylor Swift. So what's better than that?
Exactly. I just remember all the kids in the audience were cheering away and singing along. My mother and I, we were the ones in the back just laughing.
Taking it all in, right?
Yeah.
It's a little surreal sometimes. But I feel like it's, when you go to Disneyland and the kids see the princess and they think that's actually Cinderella or that's actually Snow White, and that's kind of how it feels. They know they're going to a tribute show, but once they're there, it's magical for them. So it's really easy to step into that role. But as an adult, you look and you see, and it must be so surreal sitting out there, like, yeah, I don't know, being on the other end of it.
And has there ever been a moment in your life where you saw someone and you really thought it was a celebrity, but they realized no, it wasn't?
I don't know. That's a interesting question. I maybe like seeing impersonators and things like that when I was young, because we were in California, so Hollywood is right here, and so we're in SoCal. I'm in San Diego, and so it's literally like 2 hours to get to Hollywood, and there's a bunch of impersonators. So I think when I was younger, it was like, is that really Michael Jackson, or things like that. But then you kind of just realize, oh wait, that's the fourth Michael Jackson I've seen. Like, I always thought it was really cool that people do that. Very interesting job. So
When it comes to a Thriller video, I mean, great video, great song, perfect for Halloween. But I will say, when it comes to the very end of the video, even as an adult, it's still the freakiest
it's so scary.
that I have seen. Especially that little end bit where the zombie stares into your soul at the camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's stuck with everybody who's an 80s slash 90s, early 90s baby. So yeah.
I was born in '99, but I'm a huge '80s fan.
Gotcha. I'm a 91 baby, so I'm kind of right on that cusp of my brother's like 86. So I got a lot of his, 80s stuff, and grew up in that era, so I feel you.
Nice. And there's something about Thriller I was about to say, but I couldn't remember what it was. Shoot, I forgot.
It'll come back to you, and all of a sudden you'll be like, "Oh yeah, there it is."
Yeah, but there was actually a moment where last year around Christmas, actually no, around Thanksgiving, I saw this person that was making heavy eye contact at me, and I originally thought it was Ava Max. I'm like, what's Ava Max doing in Columbus? Like, is there a tour? And I realized no, it wasn't. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't Ava Max. So I'm like,
Dang it, this close.
so, well, what was your biggest inspiration for wanting to go into music?
So my family is a really musical family. My dad is a trumpet player, so he's been doing professional gigs my whole life. And my mom she worked for a jazz radio station here in San Diego for the last 30 years. She just retired, but music in my family has kind of been everything. So my brother plays music, and I've been in choir since I was a little kid. And I think just seeing how happy it makes my dad and my mom, and that's always been a really big inspiration for me. And I've always really looked up to the fact that they've made it a career, and it's really scary as a career in a lot of situations. A lot of times, it's hard. It's a hustle. It's a constant hustle. Um, but they made it look so effortless, and I wanted that. So that was definitely my biggest inspiration.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, Thriller just came back.
Oh, did it?
It was, I mean, it's entertainment. It's not real. But
Right.
the thing that just doesn't make sense in the video is like, how do the zombies even come alive? I mean, yes, we see them come out of their graves in the music video, but it's like, what brought them to life? Was it a spell? Was it an alien? Or what was it? Because like, there's like, when it comes to like zombies rising out of their graves, I mean, it's usually
Right.
like alien chemicals or it's some kind of chemical that falls or a witch's
It was
curse.
just something to do with that thriller night,
Yeah.
something to do with the night, the air, the fog. I don't know. There was some magic in the air that just made that one night a very
Mhm.
metamorphosis. It,
Yeah.
it was just everybody changed. I don't know.
When you have werewolves, you have zombies. You name it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then just found out Vincent Price was the narrator at the end of the music video. I did not know that.
Oh wow.
I mean, I knew
I
it was
didn't
a
either.
famous narrator, but didn't know it was
Yeah,
Vincent Price, but it makes sense.
right. It
Yeah.
does make sense.
And what is the best advice that you would pass on to others that want to be impersonators or want to go into their own original work?
I would say just pursue it and stick with it, and don't let anybody get you down along the way, because there's going to be times when you either have imposter syndrome, or you feel like, what is the end goal? And it can be very there's a lot of roadblocks along the way. So just know that if you're faced with those feelings, you're probably on the right track and you're doing the right thing. And you just have to push through to get to the place where you want to be. And you're going to be happiest doing that. And it's okay to feel that way, but just keep going, because it's rewarding. It's a very rewarding job, especially when you can make music with friends and put your own original music out there too. That's such a special side of it all. We get to do the tribute work, and we get to do the music, and we get to play cool events, but when you get to make money with music, but also music that feeds your soul, it's so rewarding. So
Mhm.
just stick with it.
Nice. And have you met Taylor Swift or been to one of her performances?
I've never met Taylor Swift,
I mean,
and
neither.
I mean, that would be amazing, right? That would be the dream. And I've never actually got to go to one of her shows. So, man, I that's the next. I think all of us in the band are like, we need to go, we need to go. But everybody knows it's very difficult to go to one of her shows, which is why we offer a service, right?
Mhm.
But and yeah, that would be so much fun. I want to go to one of her shows real bad. So,
I did go to a Reputation tour several years ago.
wow, how was it?
It was a blast.
Yeah, she puts on a great show. So I have watched the Eras tour on Disney Plus like a million times,
Same
but
here. I went to see it opening day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the first person in line to go see it.
Gosh, that's amazing. So you're a Swiftie.
Big time. And I
Wow.
have
Okay.
to admit, she has actually been my celebrity crush ever since I was a high school student. I'm sorry to say that out there, but
No, I
but
think you share the same crush as a lot of people. She's an icon, man, you know?
I mean, I don't know her personally, so I really can't speak on the behalf, but she just seems really nice and down to earth, and that's what,
Hmm.
I was really attracted about her is just her kindness and what she does with her fans, and uh, especially recently with what she's done. I mean, she just seems like a kind, caring person.
Absolutely. I think she not only is she just like a very real down to earth person, she takes care of her people, you
Mhm.
know? She takes care of her dancers, her musicians, everybody on the tour. From everything that you hear, it's like she's just a very giving person, which is
Mhm.
really important in the music industry, especially any industry, I guess, where you're dealing with people that could potentially be shady, you know,
Oh
to
yes.
have real people around you
Mhm.
that are sticking up for you is very important. And I think she does that. So,
Yeah, Robin Williams did a lot of that with his cast
hmm,
members and crew members. He would even actually for extras, he would actually hire, and they even had it in his contract that he would hire people who were homeless, people who lost their jobs to be extras, and
yeah,
it's that he was doing. I mean, it was a shame
that's
what he did in real life, but still, he did a lot of nice things the same way she did.
yeah, yeah. I didn't know that about him actually, and
Mhm.
it's just one more reason why I love Robin Williams. Thanks for sharing that. Actually, yeah, there's some good people out there, and doesn't happen often, but when it does, they're recognized for being genuine.
If there's any favorite Robin Williams movie that you enjoy, what would it be? It could be more than one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna say some very nostalgic ones for me. Obviously, Mrs. Doubtfire
Oh,
is
same here.
I mean, for me, that's just like I have that's my child. I grew up with that movie and yeah, and then him as the genie in Aladdin is like,
Another
you
great
know,
one.
another great one. And that's yeah, you can tell him in any preview it. He's got so many great movies and some very serious roles, but
Mhm.
I can't. I'm Miss Doubtfire is.
The one serious role that it's hard, like, I mean, first off, the actor and the character is entirely different, but it's hard to hate this guy because it's played by a lovable actor, and that would be well, there was a Law and Order episode where he plays a villain, and then
Hmm.
there was also a movie where he also plays a villain, and that was called 1 Hour Photo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Um,
never.
yeah, it's a really
Never.
dark movie, but you do find out why he behaves that way. Like he's not really intending to behave the way he is. You do
Hmm.
find out why he is, and the message of that movie is never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that wouldn't get made today due to the well, there's a couple reasons. One, it's due to the
Yeah.
his actions in the film, but it's also social media would and smartphones would ruin the movie. But my mother and I and my dad's favorite, and my brother's too, is the Birdcage.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man. I'm gonna write these down because I've been needing some good some good things to watch. Okay, so 1 hour photo,
And the
and that's
Birdcage.
a dark one, right?
That's a
I,
dark
I'm
one.
I'm down with
Yeah.
I'm down with that. And Birdcage.
Yeah. Have you seen Birdcage?
No, but I've heard of
You're
it.
missing out.
I know.
It's a
That's why I'm
funny
like,
movie.
I need to I need to get on the yeah.
Yeah, me and my one friend from work. He used to work with me. We still hang out. We stay in touch. We stay friendly. Uh, but we used to do lines from the Birdcage. I would always be Rob Williams. He would always be Nathan Lane, and it was hilarious.
It's so funny.
So we are coming down to the end of the interview, and my mom wants to know, is there a favorite board game or a card game that you enjoy?
Ooh, okay. Well, I grew up with playing with my parents and my brother playing Yahtzee. So
Great
we
game.
love to play Yahtzee. That's like our camping game. We go camping every year, and it's definitely like our family game. But my dad also taught me how to play a lot of different card games. I love playing gin rummy. I love playing different versions of poker. Probably Texas Hold'em is one of my
It's
favorite.
fun.
Not a big like actual gambler, but like just the playing of the game is really fun. So I would say right now, Gin Rummy is my favorite card game, and I love playing that with a couple of my good friends. We get together for like game nights, and we'll play board games. We My friend, one of my really good friends, Sean, he has a closet full of board games. So it's like always trying different board games, but we always gravitate at the end of the day like towards the same ones that we know we love. Um, and at the end of the day, besides the board games, it always comes back to gin rummy. It's just all you need is a deck of cards. So
And for the the final question, is there a favorite retro product from the 90s or early 2000s that you enjoyed the most, or something you really wish you had?
hmm, man, so many so many cool things that I wish I still had from the 90s. I wish I still had all my little tiny Polly Pockets. I loved Polly Pocket.
I figured that was
Um,
coming.
a style that I kind of wish, like I had a million jellies, which were shoes. And
Mhm.
they were probably, if I wore jellies now, they might be the most uncomfortable shoe I'd probably ever wear. But they were so comfortable as a kid, like, and they were so cute. Do you remember jellies?
It sounds familiar. Uh, all I'm picturing is a colorful shoe.
They were colorful, but they're like a see-through jelly material, very like rubbery, plasticky.
Oh,
And
yeah, I remember now.
yeah, and they're so cute. I wish we could bring back jellies.
I had light up sneakers when I was a kid. Like when I was a grade,
Yeah.
I had the light up shoes, and even when we would go to the movies, like they would just go off like in the middle
Oh
of
yeah.
the movies. It would just be like, oh, something's going off. Not phone, it's
Yeah,
shoes.
the light ups were so cool. And then I think when I was like in middle school, the big thing was like the Heelys. Everybody had the rolling shoes. So that
Oh
was that
yes,
was kind of a cool fad. Pretty dangerous, but I
yes,
mean, so was a lot of things that we did, but we're here. So
very true.
yeah.
And definitely remember the. I don't know if they still make them, but I just remember they used to make those Matchbox, because they still make Matchbox cards. They used to make those
Hmm.
pop-up sets. Yeah, they were everywhere during the 2000s era.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you remember Pogs?
yes, I remember Pogs and
Loved
Neopets.
Pogs. Neopets. I was a little too old for Neopets, but my first job was Limited Two, which was like now I think it's called Journeys, like a little girls' clothing store, and we sold Neopets, so I knew all about Neopets, but I was a little too old for them.
Were you ever big into Legos when you were little?
Oh yeah, very
Oh,
big into Legos. My
same here.
brother was a huge Legos fan too, so
Same here.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have so many Legos still to this day. We have them in the garage. So,
Hey, they're prized possessions. They're memories.
uh-huh. Yeah, maybe
Uh,
I have to bust out some of those vintage Legos pretty soon here.
yeah. When I was a toddler, it was Thomas the Tank Engine, and then as I got older, it just went to Legos.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, the Thomas the Train. We had the Duplo, as a kid you have Duplos or whatever first, and then you go to the Legos, and that's man, there's some complex Legos.
Mhm.
Legos are good on a lot of different levels because it's a skill.
Oh yes, and from a few episodes ago, we actually had Edward Glenn, who voiced Thomas the Train in Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Wow.
Yeah, he was actually on the podcast.
Wow, that's so cool.
But yeah, in
Wow.
the illustration, it was him on the couch, and then Thomas bursts through the window, and he's like, ah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so creative. That's funny. I'm gonna have to go watch that one.
Well, Melody,
Yeah.
thank you again for joining today's episode.
Yeah.
It was fun getting to meet you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me also, Ben. This was really cool. Thank you.
Thank you again, and have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify and follow us on Instagram. See you next week.